something that I do in particular? No, that's something you do as well. How many of you ladies feel like you're an intuitive person? Are you intuitive? Oh, yes. Yes, you are. The nature of feminine, huh? So we're going to be talking about how we can use our gut health to be whole, healthy, stable, grounded, and a little bit naughty as well. It'd be boring otherwise. And we're going to see how we can meet that with our superpowers to get ignited from within. One more little thing we're going to do today is a few of you have been asking, how do I feminize? How do I own my femininity? How do I go deeper within as a woman, really? And so I've been sitting with that all week, and a kind of meditation has come to me, and I want to offer that to you. And if you would like, I will type it up actually and send it to you as a little guide. Yeah, because again, my feeling is that, ladies, it is up to us. This nutty world and all the crazy things going on, surely if men who are the ones most in political power, if they were properly nourished by women who were hormonally balanced and their gut health was strong and they were stable within themselves and not emotionally in a state of neglect or cut off from within, would this world really be the same? So I feel it's a time of the feminine where our love, our intuition, our courage, our togetherness, our oneness is what's needed to help heal this world. Anybody else feel that? And for those of you new, we do this when we concur. I agree, and it helps us to connect and support one another. Okay, so I'm going to just move over here and see how many of you are, okay, new and returning. I'm just taking a quick look at the chat box. Great, okay. So let's dive into our topic about gut health. Now, some of you who have been here before, you know this lesson. We're going to just do a little review on our microbiome. Do we remember that lesson on microbiome? Yeah, okay. It's the foundation of everything, our entire health, how we feel mentally, emotionally, physically. Could it even dictate your financial success, your relationship success? Could be. Let's dive into some science first. And let's understand this, because if you become a part of this community, you keep coming back, I'm going to be referring to our microbiome all the time. And some of you have already heard me say this as well. If we really understand our microbiome, then we would question gloves and masks. We would question social distancing. Yeah, if we knew this pure data science that many doctors are out there educating on, but many don't know. Why? Because the study of our microbiome, which is essentially our healthy immunity, it weighs 5 pounds. It's in our genital tract, our mouth, our nose, and in our gut. Yeah, you can actually pick it up and feel it. And if this is compromised, everything's compromised. Whatever issue you might be going through right now, if you just think for a moment, like, what's really going on for you that you'd like to solve? This one issue. Can you pop it in the chat box for me if you feel to share? And you'll see that I ask you to share quite a bit because I want to feel you. I want to know you. And to know you is to see how we can best make this information applicable and really apply it to your life. I want it to be impactful and meaningful for you. So I encourage you to really share. And forgive Luna in the background, my dog. She's not used to having. We're here in Italy. My husband and I, we've opened a retreat center in a community to create a safe haven for people in the world to come to. You want to know more about that? It's called Asha, and ashacommunity.com. Maybe Mina, you could pop that in the chat box. But Luna's not used to people going by, so please forgive her. Okay, so Alice in chronic fatigue and post-traumatic stress, Sophia disconnect, Ali a lack of consistent energy, good mood, connection to my inner being. Yeah, see, these are all real common symptoms of gut health being compromised. And Laura, how to react to my doctor who wants to put me on hormone therapy. Oh, yes, I hear you. Yes. Yes, healing the natural way, and things we're going to talk about here, are not big money makers. I'm not a rich person, but I'm rich inside. Okay, and that's because if you study these things deeply enough and you go on your own inner experiment and you start experimenting with food as medicine, with fasting, these different natural healing techniques, they're not real expensive. There's not a load of money to be made off of them. So they're not that popular in the modern world, in a nutshell. Okay, take a couple more here, and I'm going to go right into a graph, and we're going to break down science, just a couple more in the chat box. So Becky, extreme tiredness, very slow digestion. And Casey, my doctor wants to put me in the hospital, put me in after my hysterectomy. Oh, wants to put you on hormone therapy after hysterectomy. Oh, right, yeah. Jules, I eat clean and healthy diet, but still get bloating and sensitivity to people's energy. Some people, I feel unwell after I see them. Yes, Jules, I could say right now, likely that's because you are an empath. You are alive and so, okay, now I see that, Jules. You are an alive woman inside who's sensitized. And this is what we're talking about here, ladies. We're talking about getting sensitized and feminized so we can feel. And even our female doctors won't always understand that. And they'll want to put you on a hormone replacement therapy. And depending on what it is, some of them may be beneficial depending on your circumstance. But let's try understanding our gut health first, how that affects your vaginal secretions, how that affects your female organs, your estrogen. And let's work naturally first. Yeah, I know you wouldn't be here if you probably didn't agree, but let's take care of that. Okay, Casey, hormone replacement therapy, gotcha. Okay. And Gwen, poor life force energy, feel a block around my sacral, your sacred sexuality. Okay, yeah. Gwen, I feel coolness around my solar plexus, almost like leaking energy from my gut. Gwen, often, and many of you may have that. Okay, let's try something together and then let's go into our science after that. Okay, take your fingertips and then take it into your solar plexus. Okay, so I'm going to stand up here. I'm just going to show you. Okay, so here I'm going into my solar plexus here. I take the pads of my fingers here and I go all the way in. Okay, so just go right in and just kind of, I start here and I'm just going down and I'm feeling right in here. Okay, so when you get to this area, breathe. Yes, Gwen. Okay, I see some of your faces like that's painful, right? Yeah. Yeah, now let's be really kind to it. And now to begin to massage it a little bit. Okay, you can just go in and begin to work with it a bit. Okay, and then what I would encourage you is take your hands like this and start to move it over to the left. Okay, so you can see like let's see if I can pull my screen down a little bit. I'm just picking up and I'm moving over like this, always to the left. Always to the left, because we're actually pushing out gas down towards the left. That's something you could do every single day. Every morning when you wake up, I want to encourage you to go in. Let's take a big breath, actually. Whoosh. It's a bit tender, huh? I feel that just showing you. Yeah. So every morning, I encourage you to go in, feel, massage around, and listen. Put your ears down into your solar plexus and into your colon there, and begin to massage and move it around over to the left, always to the left. Now, in our solar plexus, where we're working there, we tend to collect gas, okay? And unless you've been eating foods that your body can really break down and digest, and in this context, plant-based, that hasn't been heavily processed, overcooked, your body might be producing lots of gas. Yes, that puts a lot of pressure on your solar plexus. That's why when you go in with your fingertips and you begin to press in, you feel that feeling like that, like, ow. It's because you're pushing up against gas. Keep massaging it and working it over, and you might start expelling a little bit of gas. And that's what we need. We need you to start expelling gas. And Allison, for the fatigue and the tiredness, and Jules, what you're going through, Allie, what you're going through in your health is number one, gas related. Yeah. It's gas related because that gas isn't just sitting in your intestines, it's also in our cells. Over time, this is what creates a boggy, tired lethargy, because what it's doing is it's blocking your circulation. Behind that gas, if we were to put you on a cleanse, and Lisa, you know all about this one. Lisa has studied with me for a long time and is a coach herself now. Right behind that gas, what are we going to find, Lisa? We're going to find loads of mucus. And behind that mucus, we're going to finally get to the old storage that's been off poisoning, off gassing all of it, and making you very tired because it makes your blood toxic. And so we experience this droopiness, tiredness, circulation's not moving, you're not getting proper nutrition or oxygen moving in your body. And what do you think it's doing to your microbiome? Well, it's taxing it and it's creating an imbalance. So I'm going to screen share with you now. And let's take a look at this and do a little review for those of you who know it already. And for those of you who don't, let's really understand this, okay? These little dots that you see, if we were to zoom in on them, they almost look like they're actually little bugs, really. Okay, what is the microbiome? The genetic material of all the microbes, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and viruses that live on and inside the human body. It may weigh as much as 5 pounds. Yes, and again, it's living in our intestines, and this is what's keeping us healthy. This is flora. Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay, thanks, Amina. So it's living in our gut. It's what keeps our gut flora healthy and balanced. And again, in our mouth and nose, our skin, our genitals. Now, healthy, you can see my cursor up here on the right, upper right. Healthy bacterial populations are linked to strong immune system, a reduced risk of infection, synthesis of nutrients, including B12. It's not true that we can only get B12 from animals. If your gut health, your flora is off, your body's not uptaking it properly. Okay, you could be eating meat anyway and still not being able to use it. Your microbiome prevents chronic disease, including certain cancers and bowel issues. Unhealthy bacteria populations are linked to cancer, autism, colitis, malnutrition, eczema, celiac, multiple sclerosis, obesity, heart disease, asthma, diabetes, and mental health. And the critical 4 important parts of life that our microbiome is really important for us is number 1, nutrition. Number 1, immunity, behavior, and disease. So it makes a lot of sense why diet is so important. Okay, let's say if you're drinking coffee all day long and eating sugar and living on pasta, carbs, meat, dairy, prescription drugs, this flora that you see, our microbiome, is going to become unfriendly. It's going to become against you. Okay, so you no longer have this healthy army. Think of your microbiome as your healthy army. And now you've got an unhealthy army that is perhaps going to attack your tissue, attack your body. Also, in the interim of all of this, if it goes off, your microbiome goes off, you're going to probably have candida. Now, at the basis of most all illness, all the people I've ever worked with, my own health issues that got me all into this 27 years ago, all began with taking antibiotics. Yeah, because antibiotics saved my life, so I'm not necessarily against them, but I didn't have the education to know that, wow, my belly's bloating out, my skin's going crazy, I have a foggy head and can't remember anything. Really? Because my microbiome is off? Oh, yes, ladies, this is the power of taking back your gut health. Now, let's put that into context of hormones. So, what are hormones? Hormones are chemical messengers, and they tell your body what to do basically in appropriated places. Cortisol is being secreted, adrenaline from your adrenal glands, whereas melatonin is being secreted from the center of our head, the glands in our center of our head, pituitary gland. What about from our thyroid, our estrogen? So when these hormones begin to become imbalanced, the very first place you want to look back to is your microbiome, because your microbiome is the center core of, like, the orchestra, the symphony that is your hormones. Your gut flora is conducting the entire symphony of hormones. Okay, so if you have any kind of hormonal issue that, Casey, like the hormone replacement therapy, you're having the hysterectomy, and now they want to give you, just jack you up with drugs, or you've been through menopause, or you're coming off of birth control pills. Depending on your situation, and I'm talking in broad terms now, so you want to be very careful here. So let's understand this in broad terms, okay? It's very specific to your situation. If you are to first rebuild your gut, take care of yourself emotionally, your hormones, in theory, can reboot themselves, depending on the severity or how far you've gone with the imbalance. That's the power of proper nutrition. So what are some of the things that you could do right now? What do you think? Yes, Allison, exactly. How do I rebuild my gut? Okay, so one of the first things we need to do is we need to come off of what produces acid in your body. Remember, the number one thing that affects our gut flora is nutrition. Yeah, so come off of everything that produces acid in your body. Okay, so download a good pH chart. If you don't, you might have one of ours already from our last class on pH, and make sure you are eating in the proper pH range, which is going to be from around 7.0, 6.8 to about 7.4. And if your food doesn't fall in that range, then your body's likely producing acid. Where there's acid, it's going to perhaps burn through your gut flora. And what are the foods that do that again? Sugar, caffeine, prescription drugs, stress. Okay, let's talk about stress for a minute. When your body is in a high state of stress, what's happening is you're producing cortisol. And that cortisol is like alarm, alarm, alarm. Okay, anybody here go through long periods of stress? Yeah, probably like most all of us, right? Yeah. So those long-term stress periods, we got to watch out for, because your body starts pumping that cortisol. And what that does is just depletes you. Just depletes your adrenaline, where you're just, like this. And then we start to eat chocolate, eat sugar, caffeine to compensate for it. Yeah, and that's where the self-sabotage comes in, Allison. This is where we really get like craving, and then that kind of monster part of our mind takes over, where it can just say, I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway for that temporary few moments of feeling better. Yeah, it's understandable. But there is another way, okay? There is another way. And the other way is to gain emotional support understand yourself. So thank you for being here so that we can help support you in traversing a path less trodden. You know, it's a lot easier to say, you don't need to change any of your diet, just take some more pills. And enough of you have probably already done that to know the effect of what that does. It just usually destroys your microbiome even more. Yeah. So what we can do is we can start to eat, again, in the proper pH balance. Look at the glycemic index of the foods that you're eating. We've had a lesson on that as well. You can go back and watch our previous lessons if you want to learn more about these topics. But essentially, you want to eat low on the glycemic index, okay? Preferably under 18. This is personally what I did in my mid-20s to really heal my body. Start taking probiotics. Yeah, watch out for the fermented foods. Fermented foods are not necessarily a cure-all for everybody all the time. They're touted as that in the health world, okay? But it doesn't mean it's true for everybody. Personally, if I have kombucha or let's say coconut kefir, my belly's gonna blow out. Raw apple cider vinegar, oh, forget about it. My face is gonna itch the rest of the day. And you might say, well, why? Because everyone says it's so good for you. Is there something wrong with me that I can't handle these foods? No, there's not. It just means that those foods, many of them, not all of them, fermented foods, produce histamine. Okay, and histamine is a common allergen. And so now you've got the scratchy nose, the runny eyes, and you're feeling like, what that's going to do is going to give you gas. And it's going to probably constipate you. And what do you think that does to your serotonin living in your belly that's triggering serotonin and feel-good chemicals in your brain? It's bringing you way down. So it's very clear how important it is to balance out our biochemistry with good nutrition, fasting, okay? If I could look back at my long, many years of doing all of this and all the people I've worked with, my own experience, if you want to expedite and you want to really heal now, focus on your microbiome, change your diet, do your emotional work, and really consider fasting. I wish I had started fasting early on in my life. I think fasting and meditation have been the two main tools that radically transform my life, radically. And then of course, veganism, raw food, radically transform. So, it's not the easy route necessarily of, just check out and hope for the best. No, what we're talking about here is deeply feeling ourselves, and it means feeling our sexuality. And we talked a little bit about this on our part 1 last week. It means facing our sexual traumas. Yes. It means reclaiming your beautiful vagina, reclaiming your luscious breasts, reclaiming your womb, even if you've had it removed. It means coming to terms and peace with our body. Yes. And you might say like, well, I mean, that sounds good and everything, but oh God, how do you do all that? That sounds like a mountain. Does that sound like a mountain to climb? Okay, so remember, we start with where we are and we just take one little step every single day. And you've each made a step just by being here. The purpose of this talk, one of them, is to help empower you to know that it is possible, Becky. It is. And I want to take a moment and really acknowledge you, Becky. I just want you to know I feel you, and I feel, yes, I feel you. Yes. Let's all take a big breath together. Yes, love. I see you. Big breath. 2 more big breaths. It's tender when we begin to put it all together. And we look back at our lives, especially when we were younger women. God, I didn't know. I didn't know that, well, I'll just be really frank with you. The more frank I am with you, the more comfortable I hope you feel. But I didn't know that all my promiscuity, as a teenager, a young teenager, was going to lead to infertility by the time I was 15. I didn't know. I didn't know it was going to lead to 3 ectopic pregnancies by the time I was 28. No, I had no idea. No. This is one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about us women, because I feel if we have proper support, education, where there's a great degree of openness and care, then maybe we don't have to have damaged tubes. Or maybe we could understand that lump in our breast, or understand the different cycles, stages of life that we go through as women. Because for those of you still as young women, of course, that's going to be very different as we get older. I'm just going to yell at you, Luna, for a second. Just a second. She's an old girl. We have a very strong, deep connection, so she knows. She knows. So it's possible, my loves. It's possible. But we're going to have to really want to heal. And we're going to have to actually know our own worth and say, I am worth it. And we're probably going to need to be willing to face any old sexual shame. Believe me, I have had plenty. But to be here with you honestly has been very enriching for me, because it doesn't hurt anymore, and we can get to that place where it doesn't hurt anymore because you felt into it so deeply, you worked with it so much, it doesn't haunt you like an unholy ghost anymore, but instead it fills up your wisdom well. And that's what we're looking for, is to take any trauma you've been through in your sexuality, in your life, and hold it and get support with it, because then it turns into compost and fertilizer for your wisdom well. And it's so important, ladies, because as we get older, these are the things that really cause us illness and problems if we don't work this stuff out. Yeah. And think about what's possible on the other side of that, especially you're not alone. And there's a place, a support group, or something like this where you can come to, and there's education, there's love, there's healing, there's other women who know how that feels. That's why being open and talking really frankly to me is so important. Let's go to the chat box here and let's take some of your questions now. Okay. Amina, thank you for, she will copy and paste them to me when I don't always see them. So it says, so is bad microbiome health, just if more chats come in, my chat box pops up. It just popped away. Let me just find it again. 1 second here. Perhaps you can
I'll repost them for you.
Oh,
you
thanks.
can look at the latest chat.
Okay. So is bad microbiome health affecting gassy feeling and bad bowel movement during menstrual cycle? Well, yes. Okay. So in your menstrual cycle, it's going to be natural that you have gas, okay? And that is because your body, through the bleeding process, is shrinking you down in a way. And that kind of shrinking down or emptying of the cells through our monthly cleansing is going to collect gas and help you to eliminate that gas. Because remember, gas is one of the number one, I'm not going to say enemy because I don't want to make any of it an enemy, but let's say opportunities for growth, okay? Let's not just take that little gas for granted. So by helping to repair your microbiome, will your bowel movements, your menstrual cycle and your bowel movements and all get easier? Absolutely, without a doubt. And if you wanted to really get down to it, it's how we're going to age really well. At 52, I'm much, much healthier than I was at 22 or 32. I'm getting more and more healthy all the time. So I hope that's helpful. But know that the gas is natural when you're bleeding, and the more you work on diet and the things we've been talking about, the less gassy you're going to get. Okay. What hours do you fast? Well, that's a great question. You know, what I would recommend if you're not used to fasting is first start with your diet and take the number one thing, just to make it really simple for anyone that this might be a little bit intimidating for. Take the number one most threatening thing to your mental, physical, emotional health. Okay, it might be a person. Might be a place or a thing, because remember how stress is so taxing because it's pumping cortisol through your body, stress hormone, fight or flight, emergency, make your hair fall out even in extreme cases. So what we're looking at here is fasting from that one thing that is really bothering you. Okay, let's say it's food. Let's get more simple about it. What is the number one thing that you do on a daily basis that's most destructive to your health? Is it coffee? Is it alcohol? Is it too much wine? Is it, what is it? Is it sugar? Would you be willing to fast from that for one day? Did one day? Good job. Because you do it for 2 days. And just watch how that helps your belly go down. Okay? What we want to do is we want to get that bloating down in the belly, right? We don't like our bellies all puffed out. You're a beautiful woman. You don't like that. I know you don't. I don't like it. Okay? We don't want to be stinky and smelly and all of that stuff from all secretions of our body. So we just start one by one eliminating those things that are hounding you. But here's one really important thing. Those things have an emotional component. Let's say it's sugar, Allison, okay? We're on that sugar for a reason. And if it feels like, there's no way I can give that up. I would rather climb a mountain than do that. That's because emotionally you're getting something out of it that you need, okay? So what I encourage you to do is go deeper in yourself and feel into what's being threatened or what's alive for you that you cannot give that sugar up. And go inside and feel, we're going to go in today and feel the sweet spot, actually, that's what it's called. And let's get in touch with that sweet spot in here and really sit with a craving for sugar, let's say. And see if any memories come up, any traumas come up. And these are the places we want to give attention, because if those places remain suppressed, repressed, pushed away, what happens is we crave for a substance to replace the feeling. Echoes of trauma that are asking to be held, cared for, to end all the self-neglect, all the running away because we didn't know because it hurt so much, and to reclaim our innate power to heal ourselves by sitting within instead of knee-jerk reaction and clamoring and clawing for that thing we have to have. For me personally, that'll be, I like to work a lot, a little bit of a workaholic. And if I go too much, the next thing, I can't drink coffee, my body will rebel. But I like chocolate. And so I'll be, wanting to get on the chocolate, and then after a day, 2 days, belly, gas, the whole body. And so I have to remind myself, it's not to say I'm not going to do it every once in a while, because, you got a little naughty nature, you got to do it. But I know if I keep doing it, I'm just running away from myself, and it's only going to get worse. And my belly's going to really rebel. And pretty soon I'm going to be just flat out tired, and I'll get really cranky too, snappy, irritable. So that's the point. We know we need to stop, and I need to sit with myself and say, are you trying to get your worth out of taking care of everybody else and working really hard so you can feel valuable? That's the things I get to sit with and ask myself. And I would encourage you to find your own version of that in a good, tender way that's not punishing, that's not humiliating, and to really inquire why that thing has such, hold on you. Okay. So for fasting, intermittent fasting is my favorite thing, is to fast all morning. I think we talked a little bit about this before. Stay on your juice in the morning. Who's been juicing since we last talked about juicing? Yeah, good job. And if you're not juicing yet, I encourage you to get on your juice. And I know these ladies already know the recipe. Would somebody perhaps pop the recipe in for all the other ladies? Start with 1 liter a day and start working your way up. The more nutrition, liquid soluble nutrition you get in your body, the less you're going to need density. And if you start with that in the morning, along with herbal tea, water, and start getting all of that stuff that's bloating in your belly, you need to get it in the toilet. And the way to do that is through solubility, not density, and staying empty in the mornings up until you're really, truly hungry, let's say till like 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock. And if you want to go a little bit deeper with it, then, do a full fast. Go onto my website, amyrachelle.com, and check out the free section, resources and free section, and download Do a Detox. Okay, and there's a couple of different versions there for you to choose from of fasting plans. Okay, so a few more questions here. What kind of probiotics? Be sure that you take one with, just look at the ingredients, one that's high in the billions, okay? Flora, high in the billions, that has L. salvaris, and pop this in the chat box, and L. planetarium. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, so that looks like we did questions there. How's everybody doing? Will you pop it in the chat box and you tell me what kind of feeling you have right now? What's going on inside of you? Just give me a word or two. What's going on within you? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I'm tired, afraid, lost, tired. Yeah. Grateful. Mm-hmm. Yes, well, a bit tired and grateful, yeah. For those of you who are feeling lost, okay, if you're feeling lost right now, there is a great opportunity to be found from within. And that's our real work, is this great finding from within. Your gut health is indicative of what's happening inside of you. And if you have any health issues right now, what if they are messengers to help you, to know who you are, what you're capable of? I hope that's helpful to take the next impetus and step forward in what's possible for you. All right, Jules, let's put the juice recipe in there. So cucumber, celery, cucumber. Oops, I'm popping that to Amina. Let me put it to everyone. Okay, celery, cucumber, apple, ginger, lemon, any kind of greens you can get. Yeah, I think that's good. And it's very, very tasty, okay? Lots of water throughout the day. Remember, age is a result of dehydration, primarily. Is it just because we're getting old and we're losing our estrogen? Not necessarily. It's because we're dehydrated and we're clogged up in our colon, off-gassing and recycling waste in our blood. What's the difference between juicing and smoothing, making a smoothie? Well, okay, juicing, you are going to use a lot more produce and you're going to put it through your juicer. They're two different machines, and you're going to extract all the living liquid out of that plant. Whereas when you are blending, you're going to put it in the blender, and the blender is typically going to more shred or kind of rip up the cellular structure in that food. It's easy to poorly food combine when you blend. you're going to have all the fiber left. Whereas when we make juice, we strain the fiber out. Different types of medicine for different purposes. Okay. We haven't done a lesson yet on food combining, but that is probably something we should do soon. You want to make sure that you're not mixing fruit with vegetables. Okay, that's where we're going to get really clogged up and lots of gassy stuff. Okay, so last question here. I'm very tired, even though I exercise, eat vegan and healthy. Why so? Why can't I get to the bottom of it? Well, go back to your microbiome, love. That's going to be the bottom number one thing. If you're not really healing and you're eating vegan, what I recommend is that you incorporate more living food, more salad. And if those of you who are wanting to do some fasting, but you're a little bit, not sure about it, I would encourage you to start with salad. Just do a salad fast. Yeah. And the watermelon, I would juice the watermelon, strain it. Yeah, or if you put it in your blender, if you don't have a juicer, go ahead and blend it and then strain it. Yeah. Okay, let's drop inside. Let's drop inside and let's go into this regenerative place inside. And we let all our science stuff go. I'm gonna ask you to take a big breath in. And as you breathe out, just drop your breath and your focus down into your womb. Ground down into your womb or your womb space. Into your ovaries. Your entire root as a woman. Allow yourself to feel this place. Now bring your attention to your heart in the center of your chest. Imagine it rotating counterclockwise, like you're opening a jar. There's a golden spiral that's spiraling in the center of your chest. It's opening your heart. Now in a figure eight, drop it down into your womb, generating light in your entire female area. Bring it back up in a figure eight. Come back into your heart, generating life, love, healing. Finding that deep, sweet spot in the center of your chest where you can relax, regenerate. This is your place of healing. Drop that healing down into your womb in a figure eight. Bring light, love, deep acceptance of your sexuality, of who you are, into your womb. Back up into your heart, regenerating in your heart. Back down into your womb, figure eight. And feel a figure eight moving from your heart to your womb. All the magic and the power of your beautiful sexuality is ignited and married and met with your heart. And its purity, and its cleanliness, regenerated, refurbished. And this is your safe, sweet place where you can work with your heart into your womb, regenerating your female health, tapping back into your heart, and sitting still here now. Feel the deep availability of all the love inside of you here now. And it's all for you. It's taking care of you. It's alive. Now you're receiving all your own goodness, all your own healing, all your own love. Ground it down now, ground down, ground your energy down. Light going down your body into the earth. Bring that earth energy back up for protection all around. You're grounded and protected. Safe in your own body, safe to self-heal, to regenerate. Now we're going to move into the intuition part of our work together. And just gently coming back here together when you're ready. If you have already received a reading, then you know what this is like. But those of you who haven't, what we're going to do is we're going to read a couple of people with the time we have left. And just know that it's a tender work. It can be very vulnerable. And you're safe. And know that even though I might sense or feel certain things, I'll always ask your permission, but won't ever expose you. Okay? Okay, Yasmin. Where are you, Yasmin? Let's see if I can find you. Yasmin. I don't see you, Yasmin. Can you give a wave? Oh, there you are. Ah, nice to see you. Okay. Oh. So, 1 second here. Okay. Amita, can you mute all? Thank you. Okay, hi Yasmin, nice to see you again.
Hello.
Hi. Would it be okay if I scan your system and look in a bit deeper? Would that be okay?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, okay. A lot of tenderness inside of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, whether you know it or not, and this is something that you bring in for all the ladies, because one person's reading is for everyone, and there's something here for everybody. I encourage you to extract out of Yasmin's reading what lands for you, because we know that we're all interconnected. Now, whether you know it or not, Yasmin, this is true for everyone. I've been watching you in our, not stalking you or anything, but watching you in our groups. And I've been feeling you. And I want to acknowledge the courage that it's taken for you to step forward. Yeah? You tend to be a bit shy, huh?
I think at first, and then I kind of open up a bit.
Yeah.
When people get to know me.
Yeah, well, thank you for your trust and for being willing to open up and be seen here. Yeah. Do you tend to worry?
Yes, but it's something I've worked on quite hard over the last couple of years. Okay. So I'm getting better.
You know that worry doesn't belong to you. Yeah. Is your mom a bit of a worry wart?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Yeah. Okay. So I would encourage you to, and this is a very powerful thing that you're bringing into the group, and this is for everybody now, is we encourage you to ask yourself what it means to individuate from your mother. Okay. To become an individual outside of her experience, and knowing that your claiming of your own self, you know, who is Yasmin outside of her mother's anxiety? Who is Yasmin outside of her nervousness? Because what it feels like is that you learned that, and good for you, you've done lots of work on it. I encourage you to continue to find your own sense of self. And you're writing, huh?
What, as a profession, or I journal sometimes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I encourage you to get into your writing. Yeah?
Yeah.
It feels like you have some information that's coming through you in your writing. And so if you begin to feel anxious or the old nervousness, maybe you can remind yourself that this doesn't belong to me. And I don't have to repeat what I've learned. Remind yourself it's learned behavior, and perhaps go to your writing and begin to work out what's going on inside of you in your writing. But love, I want to encourage you to develop an outlet for your heightened sensitivity. Okay, develop an outlet for it so that you're actually a highly creative person. And I encourage you to channel it into your creativity so that it doesn't lead to anxiety and this kind of feeling. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, how's that feel for you?
Interesting. I've been following a path of daily yoga, foraging. I'm actually going to study herbal medicine in September, but I studied photography before, and I have a background in art, so maybe it's something that I should consider instead of, it's good to do yoga and focus on the breath and try and focus on that inner calm, but also it's okay to maybe release that energy in a kind of creative way, in a unleashed, untamed way, maybe.
There you go. So there's the bottom line right there. And this is another beautiful message for everyone that Yasmin is bringing in. Let's channel our sensitivity into our creativity so it can unleash really your higher power. And for us as women, I encourage you not to be afraid of this, Yasmin. Your little wildness inside. And I'm talking about wildness that is your exuberantness for life, your yumminess for life. Yeah? Yeah.
Yeah.
Give back what doesn't belong to you, love. So you can fly free.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, Dizzy, where are you? Where are you, Dizzy? Sorry, Desi, sorry. Okay, Desi, I'm looking for you, but I don't see you. Can you wave at me? Oh, Desi, there you are. Okay.
Yeah. Can you give me a second, please? Hello. Hi, how are you?
Hi. Hi. Would you like to go in a bit deeper together?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. Do I have your permission to scan your system?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. Yes. So, the sun is very important for you. Yeah.
The sun?
The sun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Amina's gonna just put you on mute because you have a bit of background noise. Okay. So, the first word I literally heard was you're a sunshine girl. Yeah. So encourage you to keep getting outdoors, keep coming into the sun, and allow yourself to get charged with the sun. And if you're getting bogged down by responsibility, are you getting bogged down by responsibility?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So what it feels like is your ability to balance responsibility with being a sunshine girl, which the sunshine girl is your effervescent nature that is, again, like Yasmin showed us, that bright nature. Yeah. If that begins to get bogged down by intense responsibility, it might make you want to run. It might make you want to run away. Okay. So I get like fight or flight. And so what it feels like is happening is if you get too bogged down, what it feels like is your system is you're getting a little bit of hormonal imbalance from stress. Okay. And that's why you're getting tired, and that's why you might feel like other than a sunshine girl. Okay, so I encourage you to bring more balance into your life, and that balance will also help balance out your hormones. And it's good that you're paying attention. I get the sense that you're paying attention to that and you're aware of it. But it's important to really take care of your stress levels, because it doesn't feel like you're doing so well with continuous ongoing stress. Okay, it feels like it's affecting your gut health as well, and it's putting contraction, tension in your whole body. Okay, so lots of self-care. If you can just take 1 hour a day, and this is one of the messages you bring to the group, if you could take 1 hour a day and just take care of you, take a hot bath, get a massage, something for you every day. Because otherwise what it feels like is happening is resentments are building up, and it feels like you're not liking yourself and some of the things that are coming forward from you. But know that with some energy coming back into yourself, that'll balance out. I see. And this is another really important thing you're bringing in for everyone, is receiving. Okay, encourage you to receive. Allow yourself to receive, because feels like there's an old pattern here that is getting broken of overgiving. Yeah. Let's take a big breath together. Big breath. Yeah. So love, if you feel like you're in jail or you're trapped, it's time to just really make sure you're getting what you need for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Remember, Desi, you're a sunshine girl. And for you to be fed by nature and the elements is very, very important for you. Getting out on walks, getting your toes in the earth. This is very crucial for you. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, love. Let's all take a deep breath. Yeah. Big breath. And with this big breath, everyone, let's receive your own goodness. Receive oxygen dropping into your sweet spot in your heart and your womb. And this is the place where we regenerate. This is mind body medicine, when you consciously direct your mind in your body with your breath. Remember, your body only does what your mind tells it to. So our work here is about becoming very consciously aware of how you're thinking, how you're feeling, so that you give your body commands that are healing, that are generous, that are receptive to your own goodness. No matter what you've ever done in your life, you still have goodness inside of you, and you need your own goodness. But the access and the key to that is receiving it, is taking in all that you have inside. And let it heal you. You can do the diet, you can do fasting. These things are really important and great. But if you still mean talking yourself and you're stressed out, we're still going to have shutdown, overwhelm, cortisol pumping through your system, fight, flight. So Desi, thank you so much for your tenderness and your willingness to be seen in this place. It's a huge contribution to everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's send Desi some of our love, ladies. Let's send her our goodness and our care. Here's all these ladies helping you to regenerate love. Just take it in. Just receive it. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So ladies, another thing, one in closing, this one reminds you what Yasmin and Desi are showing us. Yasmin is showing, like, if you struggle from anxiety, nervousness, individuate. Who am I outside of what I learned from my mother or my 3 insane older sisters? Yeah, is that who I am? No, that's who they are. And that's okay. They're not bad or wrong. But let's get to know who you are. And let's come into some good self-care. And that's one of the things that Desi showed us, is the need to receive and take care of ourselves. So may you give yourself that gift. It's a gift to oneself, huh? So if there's one thing you could do this week to take care of you, what would that be? And if there's one thing you could fast from this week, what would it be? Person, place, or thing? Okay. And if you need some resources on the practical end with learning more about the science and all of that, I would encourage you to go to our new site, govegan.community, and you can become a member of that and have access to about over 150 recipes, meal planner, food as medicine library. That's a great resource for you. Could you pop a link for everybody into the chat box, Amina? So bless you, dear ladies. Thank you for being here. And if you want to check out the Asha community where we are here in Italy, that's the website for that. And we'd love to know how you are now. Could you share your experience with us? Could you pop in the chat box and let us know what you experienced from this today? It's very helpful for us to know how this is landing for you. And if there's anything that you'd like to learn, I'm thinking about developing something where we can go even deeper together. If there's something that you would want to learn out of this type of work, where we could go into a more in-depth study, what would help you? What do you need in your life? Yes, Alexis, it's $19.99. It's a one-time fee, and it's always updating. It's always getting more and more information. Okay, this is great. Thank you for everybody. Hi, Karen Ramsey. Nice to see you. Karen's very old friend. She's a raw food expert actually in New York. So it's really nice to have you here. Good. Great, everybody. Thank you so much. Bless your heart. Bless your soul. Bless your body. Bless your femininity. What does it mean to feminize? I'll encourage you to think about that. You know, going into menopause, am I still feminine? Am I still a woman? Or, you know, maybe you've had a hysterectomy. Of course we are, right? Our female organs don't necessarily determine our femininity. You know? The power of our minds working with our hearts in conjunction with your deep care inside and the willingness to be tender, the willingness to reveal oneself, in my view anyway, is what a real depth of woman is. Maybe you haven't had that with your mother or your sisters or women around you. How beautiful that kernel of goodness, of purity really, is alive inside of us. So may you claim that. May you own it. May you receive it, so that together we can nurture this world. It needs you. It needs us. Thank you, dear ladies. Bless your day or your evening, wherever you are. And lots of love to you. Hope to see you again next Thursday. Lots of love. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Lucia.
Hmm.